Did Jesus die on the cross? Exploring the possibility of his survival and exchange. The crucifixion of Jesus is a cornerstone of Christian belief, yet the Quran presents an intriguing alternative narrative. According to Islamic tradition, Jesus did not die on the cross, but was rather exchanged or taken up by God. This video delves into the Quranic perspective and explores historical and contextual arguments suggesting that Jesus may have survived the crucifixion. The Quranic perspective. The Quran explicitly addresses the crucifixion of Jesus in Surah An-Nisa 4:157-158. And for their saying, "Indeed, we have killed the Messiah, Jesus, the son of Mary, the messenger of Allah. And they did not kill him, nor did they crucify him, but another was made to resemble him to them. And indeed, those who differ over it are in doubt about it. They have no knowledge of it except the following of assumption. And they did not kill him, for certain. Rather, Allah raised him to himself, and ever is Allah exalted in might and wise." This passage is crucial as it challenges the widely held Christian belief of Jesus' crucifixion and death. It suggests that Jesus was not crucified, but was instead replaced by someone who resembled him, and that God raised Jesus to himself. Historical and contextual arguments. 1. Political context. Jesus was a significant religious and social figure who challenged the status quo. His teachings and growing influence were seen as a threat by both the Jewish authorities and the Roman occupiers. The Roman governor, Pontius Pilate, was under pressure to maintain order and prevent any uprising. It is plausible that an exchange could have been orchestrated to appease the masses while eliminating the threat posed by Jesus. 2. Pilate's reluctance. Historical records, including the New Testament, indicate that Pilate was reluctant to execute Jesus. In the Gospel of Matthew, Pilate's wife is said to have had a troubling dream about Jesus, and Pilate himself washed his hands to signify his unwillingness to be responsible for Jesus' death. This reluctance could indicate a willingness to consider alternatives to crucifixion. 3. Survivability of crucifixion. While crucifixion was a brutal method of execution, there are documented cases of individuals surviving it. The process could be prolonged, and death was not always immediate. If Jesus was taken down from the cross prematurely, he could have survived, especially if aided by his followers. 4. Gospel accounts of post-crucifixion appearances. The New Testament describes several post-crucifixion appearances of Jesus. Some scholars argue that these accounts could be interpreted as evidence of Jesus' survival rather than resurrection. The descriptions of Jesus appearing in physical form, eating, and interacting with his disciples could suggest he was still alive. The theory of substitution. The theory that someone else was substituted for Jesus on the cross is supported by some early Christian sects and non-canonical texts. For instance, the 2nd century Gnostic text, the Gospel of Barnabas, aligns with the Quranic view, suggesting that Judas Iscariot, or another individual, was crucified in Jesus' place. Conclusion. While the crucifixion of Jesus is a deeply entrenched belief in Christianity, the Quran offers a compelling alternative narrative that deserves consideration. By examining historical context, the reluctance of Pontius Pilate, the possibility of surviving crucifixion, and alternative gospel accounts, we can entertain the notion that Jesus may not have died on the cross, but was rather exchanged or saved by divine intervention. This perspective not only highlights the differences between Islamic and Christian teachings, but also encourages a broader exploration of historical events and religious texts.